stunning views from the next level.
Recently here on the show, we had a chance to travel out to Wettermark Keith and have a visit with Cameron Kuhlman, one of the attorneys with them. We had such a great conversation, but it was short. We had to come back and talk to him again, so thankfully for us, he's welcomed us back to the office. Good to see you again.
Glad to have you, Julie.
Last time we talked, we chatted a lot about your background and your family and your love of then using your talents and your gifts to help other people with their family. But you were telling me earlier that you do it in kind of a different way. You don't like to be that bulldog in the courtroom.
That's right, and that is kind of comes from two different places. One is from when I was a much younger lawyer, and a judge told me in no uncertain terms that in a situation where things were getting a little bit out of hand in the courtroom, she said to me, you know, we owe a debt of dignity and decorum to this process and to the court as lawyers. And she's right about that, but it's not just that we owe it to the court. We owe it to our clients, to opposing counsel, etc. I've been in depositions before where there's a lot of finger pointing and name calling and voices are raised, and it just gets out of hand. Mm-hmm. I've never been in one of those depositions where that yelling and carrying on produced a result that was the one that the person that started the yelling actually wanted.
Right.
I come at it from a completely different perspective. I am going to be quiet, but confident, and I'm going to tell your story in a way that the people on the bench or in the jury box mm-hmm. are going to listen and find persuasive. The second part of that is from my kids. I've got a 13-year-old, 7-year-old. They're both girls. They both have strong opinions about most subjects. And the number one thing that I get from them is they don't have any time for what they perceive to be canned sort of answers. Mm-hmm. They don't want to just hear that this is just the way it is, or they don't want to hear that this is something that I read about on, you know, in a book or whatever. They challenge me every day to engage with them in a way that is both, again, effective and personal to them. I can't do that with my kids. Certainly can't do it with a judge or with a jury.
So, you know, you told me last time that you really consider yourself to be a listener.
Yeah.
So back to this idea of a raucous deposition, for example, if that were to be something you're a part of, if you are the one, and we've probably all had this experience in our lives, deposition or not, where we're listening and you actually become the one with the power. Yeah. And the knowledge when you listen.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I find particularly that when people start yelling, they sort of lose control for a minute.
Right.
And when they're yelling, they certainly aren't hearing what everybody else is talking about.
So I'm going to guess that there are some people who are watching us right now, Cameron, and maybe they saw the last interview that you and I did, and they're thinking, something about him's kind of different, because you're very calm.
Yeah.
Your whole office is. When you come in, people are very polite and quick to greet you, but there's a sincerity very much that is here. And you are an observer.
That's right.
Aren't you?
Yeah. We're watching. I'll say this. You know, there's this perception in the work that we do that if you're not a fighter, if you're not loud and proud and out there, that you're not going to get a good result for your client. I'm the complete opposite of that. When I walk into pick a jury, for example, there's 200 people sitting there, or there's 100 people, or however many people are in the voir dire. And we're going to sit there and we're going to listen to the stories of each of these people, because I need to be able to talk to them and tell my client's story to that person. And I don't know how it is at your house, but at my house, nobody's interested in being yelled at. Mm-hmm. They want to be heard.
Is it important? I don't know how to phrase this question, but when clients come to you, and they're kind of interviewing you too, I guess, if they've gone through a difficult time, they want to know how you're going to be able to help them. And obviously, you've got to make sure that their case is one that you think you can help them with. You can't just take everybody.
Right.
But is your ultimate goal, if it does end up in the courtroom, that the last person the jury really sees is you, and who the jury sees is the client?
Right. I don't know if you thought that was a bad question. It was a perfect question because you've hit the nail on the head. My job in the courtroom, particularly as it relates to a jury, is to tell someone else's story so that when those folks go back to deliberate, they are not thinking about what did Cameron Kuhlman say. They're thinking about what is my client who's sitting right here beside me. What does that person need? Mm-hmm. I am going to tell stories. I'm going to do a lot of the talking. But at the end of the day, you're exactly right. It's not about me. I want myself to sort of disappear.
Then let me ask you this question before I let you go, because I know we're catching you in the middle of a
Sure.
work day. There are people who have justifiable claims, and I think they're afraid to go to an attorney because they don't want to be that person who's hurting somebody else or taking advantage. Do people sometimes not realize the help that they could have?
That's absolutely true. I can't count how many times, particularly around here, where folks come to my office and they say, we don't even want to be here. We've been trying to talk to this insurance company for the last 6 months about our case, and we thought that they were supposed to take care of us. We thought that, we have this underinsured or uninsured motorist coverage from our insurance company, and we understood that we bought that because they would take care of us. The insurance company is looking out for one person and one person only, and that's the company that they are. So clients come in the door, they're confused, they don't feel like they want to go, cause a big scene. They think that a lawsuit is something dirty. There's nothing dirty about it. It is merely an opportunity for you to stand up for yourself with the assistance of someone like me or another lawyer here in my firm, but to stand up and say, something bad happened, I want it to be fixed.
Well, here's how you can find him. He is at Wettermark Heath. They've just moved to their new offices downtown. Proud to be right there in the shadows of the courthouse, making it all the more effective for you to help take care of your clients. Their phone number and website there on your screen. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Come back anytime.
Are you close taking 2 or more cycles to dry? New dryer manuals recommend dryer vent cleanings annually. Call now and have a better running, more efficient dryer by the weekend. Call today and say abracadabra.